So Carol was teaching this class and decided that she would completely revise the course with the help of the librarian and the archivist to try to make sure that there was much more focus on primary sources than in the past. This is a lower level course. She wanted her students to develop archival literacy skills, so understand how to use a finding aid, understand what it means to use somebody's personal papers, for instance. And then the students could pick any topic related to World War I and do this quarter-long research project using primary sources. We had 2 sessions where Peggy Kieran, the Arts and Humanities Reference Librarian, came into the class and taught the students how to use, how to search for primary source databases, but also how to search the open web for primary source material. So it's not just about 1 or 2 resources, it's about primary source content generally. The class had 2 visits to special collections where they worked with the archivist and really got into the nitty-gritty of working with physical collections. Students then were required to bring at least 2 sources to every class and be prepared to talk about those sources. They had to write papers where they analyzed those sources. And then there was a final research paper that incorporated the various resources that they had been working with all quarter. And because they've been thinking about these sources all the way through, it generated probably better topics than could have been done otherwise, and more polished papers than might have otherwise happened as well. As you can see here, the topics were really all over the place. They were able to choose a wide range of things based on the primary source content that was available to them. So some of them did it on sort of social issues around World War I, cultural issues around World War I, and then there were some who did things on strategy and tactics within the military during World War I. Peggy Kieran, who's the librarian who worked with this group, put together this LibGuide, and it's pretty small, but maybe you can see up here that the main, sort of the first thing you see in this guide is the First World War portal from Adam Matthew. This was the source that they used the most. It was kind of their starting point, but it was absolutely not the only primary source content that they were pointing to. So we have a long list, just for instance, of newspapers and magazines from the period that students could use. Here's the First World War portal. It has the searching functionality. It has a lot of other extras, and Carol told me that she used some of those extras a lot. So yes, the students were using the primary sources. Yes, that was the point. But she used the maps within this portal quite often in teaching, and she used the chronologies very often. So working with students to sort of understand where their documents fit in within this broader context was really important to her. And the usage has been tremendous. So the First World War content that we acquired from Adam Matthew, we started acquiring in 2011. It was released over time. We acquired it between 2011 and 2014. In the fall of 2013, so comparing fall to fall to fall, in the fall of 2013, there were no page views in any of this content. That doesn't mean it wasn't used all year, but it wasn't used during the fall quarter when this course is taught. In the fall of 2014, there were only 4,100 page views, and then in the fall of 2015, when we had this class where students were really expected to use this content, we had 25,000 page views. Really impressive. So it's a 60, and across all of the Adam Matthew databases, there's a 64% increase in usage from fall 2014 to fall 2015. And this is the time period when we were making a much more concerted effort to get out into classes. So some feedback from Carol about her use of sources and about this class and about the success of this project. She said that students gained a deeper understanding of history and of the war. Right, the fact that they were able to read the primary sources made it gave them just a better understanding of what was going on. Many of them commented about how it made it more real. They used a lot of different resources. They said to Carol that they felt more invested in the class, they felt more invested in learning about this time period. And I love the fact, this idea of one student who said she was taking charge of her education by doing this, right? So the fact that she was using the primary sources made her feel like she was more in control. Carol went on to say that she found that many students were better scholars because of this. She said that students told her, not just one student, but many of these students told her that they had never really questioned their secondary literature before, but this forced them to question it, because many times they were reading the secondary research, but had already looked at the primary sources, and were saying, oh, I actually interpret that a little bit differently. So it gave them a better understanding of how history is done. A better understanding that you are, as a historian, trying to tell a story based on these sources. You're not trying to tell what the facts were, because the facts are often open for interpretation. And so it's been a really successful project, and is kind of what we had hoped for when we started to acquire all these resources. And as I already said, that we started this with Gale. We've been doing it with Adam Matthew for years. We've been doing it with Redex for years. We've been doing it with ProQuest for years. We've been buying comprehensively and getting a substantial enough discount that it makes sense for us.